It took me 10 years in retirement to realize this. It took me 10 plus years, I should say, in retirement to realize this. Hi, this is Robert with Robert's Active Retirement. Saturday morning, already been to the gym. Let's jump right in. I'm going to talk about my experience as an experienced retiree, well over 10 years. I started retiring when I was 58, and I'm 77 now. So you count that up. The first few years were partial retirement, part-time retirement, I called it. The last 10 years plus have been full-time retirement. But I wanted to give perspective of somebody who's been retired. A lot of people on YouTube are wonderfully documenting their retirement journey when they are in their 50s, late 50s and early 60s. I think that's absolutely wonderful. That's what I did back then. 18 years ago, I started blogging, WordPress blog, about my retirement journal. I did small town retirement, city retirement, boomer places. I actually built a media company out of it. I mean, that just goes to show you. I mean, retired and then started blogging about my retirement. The next thing you know, I incorporated Retirement Media Inc. and built a company out of it. And I never intended to do that. I was just documenting, just like a lot of you are, YouTube contenters. I was just documenting my journey. That may even set my personal retirement back a little bit because I was having fun. That was my retirement, documenting my retirement and going places and traveling, things like that. But today, getting to the point is what it took me 10 years in retirement to realize. So if you think about today's retirees, the ones that are in the late 50s, early 60s, and they're getting ready to retire, and I see their perspective, and I certainly share that. I'm going to cover 10 things here. If you bear with me for the next 10 minutes, I think you'll understand person's viewpoint, perspective that is down the road in retirement. So I'm going to share that with you. I'm going to reverse my list, kind of like David Letterman. Remember that? He used to do the reverse list, start with 10 and end up with 1. And I'm going to do that because 1 or 2 was there's no reason to fear retirement. I'm going to talk about that, but I'll put that last. So let's jump right in. Your social circle may change, and that's okay. If you move, you're going to lose some friends. When you retire, you're going to lose some friends. Now, I knew that. I mean, I know when you retire, you don't go to work, right? So that was the part everybody's looking forward to. But it's well documented, when you retire, you will lose your work friends. And a lot of people have done YouTubes about that. But also, it's hard to know the next step in replacing that. What do you do to get new friends? And I made a video about that recently. No friends in retirement, a simple fix. It's going to be up to you how many friends you want. If you want any friends or acquaintances or people to do stuff with, that's entirely up to you. Retirees love their rituals. I like this one. Retirees love their rituals and habits and routines. And what I'm talking about is you leave the workplace and, you know, you're very structured. A lot of people have a time they get to work and a time they leave work. And when you get in retirement, you have no structure imposed upon you by anybody else. It's up to you when to get up, when to go to bed, when to eat, when to exercise, when to play games, when to anything is up to you, entirely up to you. And if you develop little rituals, that will help you structure your day. And more than that, it will help you enjoy your day. One thing I've really enjoyed, and a lot of people that are retired enjoyed, is breakfast. Yeah, breakfast. You know, when you're working, you get out of the house, you want to go to work. So you cram down something, stop by and get an Egg McMuffin maybe. But when you are retired, you really enjoy breakfast. There's a couple of guys in our walking group, and I can always tell when we get about almost to the end, they start talking about breakfast. You know, they're going to go home and make an omelet, smoked sausage. And I do the same thing. Bay's English muffins. I love those things. And you take your time and eat. And even if you're a man and didn't cook before, you learn how to cook little things like that. And it's enjoyable. So we got time to do stuff like that. Take a walk in nature. Exercise, that's a ritual. So rituals in retirement. And one other thing about that, retirees hate to be rushed. Quick little story. My little brother, he's bigger than I am. My little brother, I went to pick him up to go out of state, and I was going to pick him up like 9:30, not real early. And about 30 minutes away, I called him, and he said, "I'm not ready yet." He said, I got these little things I do in the morning. I check this, check that. I got to eat breakfast, go to the bathroom, do this, do that. And so I went and get a cup of coffee and waited for him. And I understand. We don't like to be rushed, and that's one of the beauties of retirement is you're not rushed. Okay, next, health becomes a bigger factor than ever. I'm in good shape. I've competed in the National Senior Games 3 or 4 times and U.S. Track and Field Masters Race Walking Championship several times. I walk 3 times a week. I just got a Saturday morning and I just got back from the gym. I do it 2 times a week. I don't care who you are, you're going to have some health problems. And you're going to spend more time going to the doctor, getting things checked out, even routine things if you have nothing wrong. I didn't take any medications until a couple of 3 years ago. And I had high blood pressure. I said, wait, I walk all the time. How could I do that? And the doctor said, get used to it. He said, you would have gotten high blood pressure sooner if you hadn't walked. It's in your genes. There's nothing you can do about it. Healthcare is important because that dictates your quality of retirement. The more active you can be, this is Robert's Active Retirement, by the way. I'm Robert. I didn't tell you. The more active you can be and get exercise, eat well, that's going to become a little bit more important to you because you see the value of health. You see your friends and neighbors that become immobilized, can't get around, or have certain issues. And the more you can fight off that trend, the better. So health becomes a bigger issue than ever. Okay, that's 3. The next one's fun too, time management. You're thinking, going into retirement, like, well, I'm retired, I don't have to go to work, I've got all this time, freedom, all that sort of thing. And that's true. However, what you don't realize, that's what I'm talking about. What you don't realize is that you may be almost as busy as ever. I know it's hard to believe, but people say, a common saying around our retirement community is, I'm so busy, how I ever had time to work. I mean, that's just a saying, and that's a saying, and people chuckle because it's true. A couple that we were going to go out to lunch with, they said, let's do that. That's great. And so you check your calendar, we'll check our calendar. And we did. And guess what? It was 3 weeks before we could have a lunch. We're just talking about a lunch. 3 weeks. I mean, that's remarkable. Time management, I should say, is entirely up to you. And this is where you have to really schedule something to get it done. It's Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, and I came down here, got up. I could have easily turned over in bed and had a cup of coffee, and when I got up, and leisurely breakfast. And I'll do that when I get home. I haven't had coffee yet. When I get home, I'll have my coffee. It's up to you to do your own schedule, and don't throw your calendar away. You're going to do a lot of scheduling. That's a surprise, isn't it? I mean, people believe they have all the time in the world, and you do. You can have me time. My wife will, on Saturday or Sunday, I'll say, okay, what do you have next week? And she'll say, what do you have? I say, okay, bring your calendar and come in my office in here, my home office, I should say, and we compare notes. And many times she's got something booked every day. She's going to have lunch with her girlfriend. She's going to play hand and foot. She's going to have a doctor's appointment. She's going to this and that. And it's so funny because once in a while she'll have an empty day and she'll say, wow, I don't have anything. It's going to be nice. But you have to schedule that me time too, do nothing days. That's the beauty of retirement, right? Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 is coming up, and that's managing your finances in retirement will be much tougher, take more time, not tougher, more time than you think. And I like numbers. I have an accounting degree, and I always keep my spreadsheet of my net worth and book things. But I've been very, very surprised how much time it takes for retirement finances. Well, let me say this. If someone didn't save for retirement, and I've seen that, oh boy, I'm sorry. It's not too late. Go ahead and get started. Save for retirement. If you have some money, I don't care if you use a financial planner or not, it's going to take time. There's all kinds of things. IRA, required minimum distributions, qualified charitable distributions. If you're on a budget and you're concerned about giving out of money in retirement, many people do written budgets and really watch things. Some people even try to live off Social Security, even though they can afford not to. They have other finances. And I would just say this as an experienced retiree, right? The longer you're in retirement, the less you worry about that. It still takes time, but you're not as concerned about it. I'd say that much. Because you got some flexibility. You can cut some things back, or even if you've got money, make a budget. We take 1 or 2 cruises a year, and we come up with a budget. We came up with a budget for charitable contributions, gifts to family, all kind of stuff like that. And you're going to have other concerns too with finances. You know, what if the children is a big factor? I don't have any children. We've been married 52 years, didn't have kids. How about that? But most people here did. And their kids sometimes need money. I read an article that parents are giving their retirement funds to their kids. What if a family member wants to borrow a lot of money? Are you going to give it to them? Okay, finances. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's move on. We've got 10 of them. Downsizing and moving takes more time than you think. I did a video about this. Look it up. It's going to take way more time. Decluttering is something every retiree thinks about and should be doing. And you go through the boxes, and the spouse, if you have a spouse, they may think, well, no, I want to take my time. Oh, no, that's something I want to keep. Just decluttering alone. And then you got stuff people don't want to buy. Craigslist, you can sell stuff, Goodwill, all those things. But it just takes many trips to the shredder and giving all that stuff away, selling it, whatever you can do to get rid of it, because you're going to need to do that. I'm not going to go too much more in detail about that because I got a video about that. It's called Moving After Retirement. We're getting to the good stuff now, so bear with me. Retirement can take you places you never expected. Looking forward to retirement, some of the concerns and fears are not only financial, but they are, what will I be doing? What purpose? Do I have a purpose? If I lose my purpose in life? Those sorts of things. And I'm getting to that, but retirement can take you places. You will end up doing things you never thought you would consider doing. And you may not even know about them now when you get ready to retire. So I'm talking to you. Let me tell you this. I told you about my blog when I retired. That turned into a company. I didn't plan that. I mean, that just happened. I went to the senior center. They put me on the activities committee, and I really enjoyed that. And I started walking the Park Place Pacers. They had a competition between senior centers. We went there. This guy beat me like 20 yards. I said, what? I've been walking for a year and a half or 2 years, and he beat me that far, and he's 10 years older than I am? Well, I found out he was a race walker. I had no idea there was something called race walking. I learned how to do it. I got a coach, and for 4 Sundays, he taught me race walking. He turned out to be a race walking judge. I went to the state of Georgia senior games, and I qualified for the national senior games. So in 2015, I flew up to St. Paul, Minnesota, St. Paul, competed in my first national senior games. And I came in 7th out of 35 people. I was almost in tears. I was so happy. I mean, I gave it everything I got, and I just really enjoyed that. I used to be a track person in high school. I hadn't done any of that. I quit running when I was 40. So here I am, in my late 60s at that time, doing that. And I had a blast. And I ended up going to 3 senior games. They have them every other year. And I went to U.S. Track and Field Masters indoor in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I won a gold medal. And I went to the U.S. Track and Field Outdoors in Lexington, Kentucky, and won a silver medal in the 10K race walk and other places. Now, I'm just telling you this because that's just an example of what I'm talking about. I had no idea at all about race walking. I didn't even know I'd be walking. So you're going to do things like that you never, you didn't know about. You never expected. I can tell you more stories, but I'm not going to make this do a personal story. I'm just giving that as an example. Okay, retirement will be different than you expect. That's almost the same point. But let me just say this. You need to be open in retirement. You're starting and you may have some preconceived ideas. You know, I just mentioned senior centers. And senior centers, you know, I was a baby boomer. 1946 is the start of the baby boomer generation. I was born in 1948, so I was 2 years, I'm on the leading edge, no doubt. And, you know, it was hard to start taking senior discounts. You know, I learned to do that. But, you know, we didn't want to be called seniors. And so senior center, like, I don't know about that, but I was blogging about it. So I went and checked it out. And I had the best time. I started going. I learned bocce. I became, later, down the road, another unforeseen consequence, I became president of the bocce club at my community where I live right now. 420 people, 22 leagues. I never saw that coming. I didn't know what bocce was. I never knew what bocce was before I retired. It's a great game, by the way. Give it a try. Look it up on the internet. It's going to be different than you expect. Be open. I told my brother, one of my brothers, about my younger brother, about the senior center. I said, in fact, I was getting an award there. I said, come join me for lunch. And he did. And he told me later, he said, I don't consider myself old yet. And he is, what, 5 or 6 years younger than I am. But people don't see the point. They don't see the point. This is not about getting old. This is just the opposite. This is about, you know, staying young. And so people don't understand that. Well, let me jump to the number 2 point, I should say. Retirement is a journey, not a destination. It's not an end goal, and you know that. You know, you retire, you work hard, you save, you plan, you think of all the great trips you're going to be taking, all the good stuff you're going to be doing, taking your time, all those things. And it is wonderful. It's wonderful. But I read 50 books about retirement, and I thought I knew what retirement was. Well, looking back, I didn't really know what retirement was. No book, no seminar, no class, no advisor can really tell you what your retirement will be, because it's a journey. Think about this for a change. Think about this. When you started work, did you stay doing the same thing your whole work life, or did you change and start doing different things? I mean, I did. I'm not going to tell you my personal story, but I jumped all over the place. Three different careers I had. I never saw that coming. Guess what? Retirement's going to be the same thing. It's not going to be one static condition. You retire, oh, this is what retirement's like. I don't like it. I'm going back to work. No, it's up to you. It's up to you to be proactive and make your own retirement. Final thing, no reason to fear retirement. That's bad wording. I don't really mean that the way it sounds. Let me tell you what I mean. I've got a couple of YouTube content providers that are friends. I read their stuff. They look at my stuff, and they are in their late 50s, and they are concerned about retirement. Rightfully so. They're learning, but they're concerned about not only finances, but about what to do, what will they do, you know, what's their purpose in life? Will they feel fulfilled? Will they feel fulfilled? It's hard to say. And that sort of thing. Looking back after, 18 years of retirement, I would say, don't worry about it. You know, don't worry about it. you're taking the right step. If you're worried about it, you're doing the right thing because you're thinking about it. So it will develop, and there's no plan, no book, I can't tell you what your retirement's going to be. I would just tell you this: be positive, be positive, enjoy it, enjoy the journey, like I did when I went and checked all those places out about retiring, where I wanted to retire. The same skills you use in your work life to achieve things, you're going to use those same skills in retirement. So you have to navigate retirement. But nobody's going to fire you. You know, you can slow down, speed up, do anything you want to. So and you will find hidden activities that you, when I say hidden, mean you don't know anything about, that you liked it. Or you may rekindle things. Studying retirement books is good because it gives you options. It gives you a lot of options. But guess what? Race walking wasn't one of those options. Playing bocce was not one of those options. Those are two of my main thrills in life. I race walked for 10 years. I played bocce. I've been playing bocce now for maybe 15 years. I didn't read that in a book. So anyway, I would say stay active, stay positive, use your life skills. You can do this. You know, retirement is nothing to worry about. It's something to be excited about, be encouraged about, be exploring. It's absolutely wonderful, and you can do it. You can do it. So that's my message. I'm Robert with Robert's Active Retirement. My blog, by the way, is Active Retirement. That means activities. So I'm going to be not only talking about walking, I'm going to talk about a lot of other things. So if you like this video, please give me a like and subscribe. I'll catch you later. Have a great weekend.